Stanley Kubrick had a warning for humanity. He said the government has long-standing and highly detailed plans to stage an alien invasion and to unleash terror in the population. And now, we have the tape to prove it. Listen to what he says on that tape.
When the government starts talking about aliens seriously, that's when you should worry.
He tells us they'll manufacture a crisis, terror in the skies, a threat so immense that humanity will beg for protection, and from that fear will rise a single global government, total control, the final cage. We knew this decades ago. He tried to tell us through his films, through 2001, through Eyes Wide Shut, through every frame he ever shot. Now he's speaking directly, exposing the real power structure and who really rules. And his message is simple. Do not underestimate how dangerous they really are, and do not believe a word they say. Before we dive in, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and join the People's Voice Locals community to join our incredible community, support the channel, and gain access to exclusive and uncensored content. Kubrick knew they would kill him, so he planned for it. In 1996, he recorded everything with his closest friend, magician David Berglas. Then he sealed it. Do not release until 20 years after my death. He died in 1999. 20 years came and went. Nothing. But Berglas died in 2023. And now, thanks to the estate, we have the full recording. On that tape, Kubrick reveals that he knew the day would come when the government and media would stop mocking so-called conspiracy theorists and start pandering to them. He saw the times we're living in now coming from a mile away. And on that bombshell tape that's just surfaced, he had a warning for humanity. Disclosure is a psyop. According to Kubrick, you can guarantee they will never willingly disclose the truth. They'll give you breadcrumbs. They'll give you non-human biologics and grainy footage. They'll let you think you're finally being told the truth. But the real truth, the one Kubrick died trying to show us, is that the cage is still there. They've just painted it to look like a window.
You know, the public has a desperate need for a narrative, for comfort. They watch Close Encounters and they see benevolent, spacefaring hippies. A fairy tale, but you don't direct a film like 2001 without learning the truth. The truth is pragmatic, grim. The entities that hold the lease on this planet aren't interested in our technology or our art. They are pastoralists. We are the herd.
Then came Kubrick's darkest revelation. The revelation that explains the underlying theme in many of his movies, including his final masterpiece, the heavily censored Eyes Wide Shut. The non-human entities aren't here to help us. They're here for something far more disturbing. Our very essence, our souls.
They don't want our gold. They're not interested in our art. They want our souls in a tangible, energetic sense. They harvest the emotional discharge of our wars, trauma, suffering, and deaths. They've engineered our religions, political systems, even linear time to keep us in a low vibration prison.
Now, as disclosure gains steam, as the federal government continues releasing classified documents, as even the mainstream media gets on board, Kubrick's message has never been more important. He said, you must understand something critical. We're being misled. Disclosure will not bring the truth. Listen, just quickly, if you're paying for a major VPN, cancel your subscription right now. Proton is compromised. ExpressVPN, CyberGhost, PIA, Surfshark and more, they're all owned by one Tel Aviv company with ties to Israeli cyber intelligence. You're paying them to protect your privacy, and they're laughing at you. VP.net is different. Zero-knowledge cryptography, open source, no backdoors. They literally can't see your activity, even if forced. Privacy guaranteed by math, not promises. Check it out at vp.net/TPV. Back to Kubrick and his warnings about so-called disclosure. He says these non-human entities, which he calls reptilian, are controlling the narrative, tossing us fake breadcrumbs. They know what would happen if the real truth ever came out. Genuine disclosure. Reptilians harvesting souls, manipulating history, breeding among us. The public would be horrified and repulsed. We would rise up and fight them. They can't allow that. So instead, they give us a different story. An alien invasion, a common enemy. UFOs attacking our cities. The terrified masses will beg for protection, surrender their freedoms, accept a one-world government as the only salvation.
All this disclosure talk, it's not about truth. It's about preparation. Fake invasion. Ships in the sky. World begs for one government, one savior. And we'll give it to them. We always do. Hollywood, Washington, the UN. It's the same payroll. They keep you distracted, entertained, compliant. The reptilians don't need to pull strings anymore. They build the machine. We run it for them.
Kubrick wasn't the only genius who saw through the veil. One of those men was Jordan Maxwell. He understood the ancient text and symbolism. He knew the gods of old weren't mythological. They were administrative. Hybrid bloodlines, including the royal family, the Rothschilds and the Bushes, continue the tradition. A ruling class that has kept humanity in chains for millennia.
The whole human race is being misled by alien life forms who have come here from another place, who are smarter than we are, technologically superior, just way down the road, smarter than you'll ever be. And they know how to run civilizations, and they know how to start religions and governments. They call the shots because they have powers we don't have. Human sacrifice is a very powerful, real, legitimate, not of this world magic. And those people who are running Hollywood are connected to things you don't know anything about. And they have the power now to manipulate the world with motion pictures and television.
Who's orchestrating that in Hollywood?
All of that is being orchestrated out of Hollywood. But it's not because these people are so clever and resourceful and talented. No, they are connected to a power that is not of this world.
Kubrick had an answer to that question. An answer he buried deep in the narrative of Eyes Wide Shut. The movie that proved so dangerous to the elite, they've never allowed any of us to see Kubrick's version. Kubrick told Nicole Kidman during filming that psychopathic paedophiles run the world. As it turns out, Kidman only got a fraction of Kubrick's deep knowledge on the subject. We've got more from the man himself, including the truth about why the elite prey on children, and the strange connection this has to the moon landing, and why he was asked to fake the footage. Right after this important word from our sponsor. Think the healthiest thing in your pantry right now is some overpriced superfood? Wrong. It's actually olive oil. Yeah, that bottle you've got sitting on your cupboard isn't just for cooking, it's a weapon to help you look and feel younger inside and out. No big pharma potions, just nature's real deal. Dr. Stephen Gundry, a rogue surgeon who's done with the system, says high quality olive oil is a game changer. The problem is the industry is a cesspool. Nearly all brands in stores are watered down junk, pushed for profit, not your health. Dr. Gundry has had enough. He's exposing the real truth about olive oil with a free video for viewers of this channel. He'll show you how to spot the real stuff that works wonders for your body with just a few tablespoons. This isn't hype, it's the truth they don't want you to know about. Visit getolive1.com/TPV, the link's below. I've watched his free video and the information blew me away. If you're genuinely interested in changing your life with olive oil, go to getolive1.com/TPV now. You won't regret it. While the government feeds you tidbits about UAPs and non-human biologics, remember, they're showing you what they want you to see. The real truth, the one Kubrick tried to warn us about in every frame of his films, is far darker and far closer than you think.
Here's what they don't want you to know. The reptilians didn't make us. They need us. We are something they could never replicate, something they've been trying to steal for millennia. Our consciousness, our soul. They can't create what we have. So they do the next best thing. They harvest it. They feed on our fear. That's why they built every system, religion, government, media, to keep us small. Because if we ever remembered who we truly are, if we ever tapped into that full potential, they wouldn't stand a chance.
Jordan Maxwell agreed. As he explained, those are people who are running Hollywood and the political system, and are connected to things most people are incapable of understanding.
But can we put a name to that higher power?
Well, I call it the spirit world.
Is that the archons?
Yeah, the archons. Yeah.
And the Muslims call them the jinn?
Yeah, that's exactly right, the jinns. And the Christians call them demons and devils. The Jews call them a different name.
So they are spirit beings?
Yes, they're spirit beings. And they're
not physical?
Not physical. They're spirit beings. They can work through the reptilians.
And some reptilians and other alien species are physical and some are non-physical.
That's exactly right. But you need to understand that there is all over the earth a domination of the human family, of humans, by extraterrestrial or other world entities that you can't see.
Stanley Kubrick was telling the world that he knew about the dark power structures that control the world through his films for decades. He knew that the elite are non-human entities. He knew that the innocence of children was their main cause. Then they killed him.
They walk among senators, bankers, media moguls, human skin like a cheap suit. You felt that chill when you look into certain eyes and see nothing looking back. The Bible is their handbook, not ours. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days. Fallen angels taking human lives. That wasn't mythology. That was husbandry, a breeding program. They wrote the book, gave us the rules, and we've been following them ever since.
Everything, and I mean everything, is starting to come together now. From disclosure, to the depopulation of the world, to the creation of a one-world government and new world order. Check out this WikiLeaks email, one of the most astonishing leaked emails of all time. A meeting between Apollo 14 astronaut Edgar Mitchell and John Podesta. The subjects? Extraterrestrial disclosure and zero-point energy. Think about that. Podesta, the man at the center of the Clinton machine, the man with ties to the deepest corridors of global power, was being briefed by an astronaut with knowledge of the disclosure psyop. Not to expose it, to manage it, to control the narrative. This is the evidence. The proof that disclosure is not about truth. It never was. It's about controlled release. The slow drip of information designed to pacify the public while the real agenda moves forward in the shadows. The more people from within the machine you speak to, the more obvious the whole agenda of silence becomes. Now, a camera operator from Stanley Kubrick's final film dropped a bombshell. Warner Brothers didn't just tweak Eyes Wide Shut after the director's suspicious death in 1999. They ripped out every scene exposing the elite paedophile rings and satanic rituals at the heart of the story, turning it into what he calls a bizarre non-story.
I used to work with him. He was a freelance cameraman. I worked a lot on very high-end stuff on drama at the BBC, and he got this job for 4 years with Stanley Kubrick. And we used to drink and in the bar, and when the film came out, I said, "Wow, it looks amazing. Your work is incredible." He said, "It's not in the film." I said, "How do you mean?" He said, "Well, I was in New York the entire time, and I shot for 4 years. None of it's in the film. All they put in the film was Nicole Kidman and what's his name, and the studio just cobbled together a bizarre non-story stuff. That's not what the film was about," he said. I think there's more to that film than meets the eye.
There was a hell of a lot more to that film than the studio allowed the public to see. It's the perfect title, Eyes Wide Shut. Describes exactly how the elite have conditioned humanity to live. Walking through life with eyes wide open, yet seeing nothing. The rituals, the masks, the secret societies, the child trafficking hidden behind gilded doors. Kubrick knew. He had seen the documents. He had met the men in the masks. And early in his career, he did their dirty work for them. He knew that if he told the truth directly, he'd end up like so many others who tried. So, he told it through art, through cinema, through layers of shadow and light.
I didn't know they recut it after his death.
Okay, so apparently...
I think they finished it.
Well, that's the party line.
That's a version,
That's the party line. There's an entire thread that's kind of been... squashed in that film, and that's the two men that are throughout the movie that are constantly in the background of the film, who eventually in the final shots of the film you see, like Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman in that final scene in the toy store when she's looking at the Rosemary's Baby bassinet, which is totally Kubrick saying something, and they never take their eyes off their daughter until the moment they take their eyes off and the final line of the movie is coming up. You see those two guys walking off with the daughter. They're taking her away. They've given their daughter to the pedo cult. That's what's happened at the end of the movie. And there's an incident where when they first screened the movie in England, people who were outside, this is all secondhand, by the way. There were people who were outside of the theater who could hear inside of the theater Kubrick yelling at all the executives and saying, "It's my movie, you can't cut it. You can't fucking cut my film, blah, 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 blah." Big argument going on. Then he dies like 4 days later.
Oh, Jesus.
These are critical times. And here at The People's Voice, we're determined to expose the elite and hold them to account before it's too late. The truth isn't just information, it's liberation. It's the light piercing through the darkness they've wrapped around this world. Join us in our mission to wake up the masses. Subscribe to the channel and join the People's Voice Locals community. Together we fight, together we awaken. See you in the next one.